This was one of the most exciting races I've had in a long while. It's a wet race, it's Super Formula Lights at Suzuka, and off we go. We have a very good start, really trying to put that power down. You see, we're gaining a lot of places just from the start itself, and we have a huge speed difference in turn 1. We're sending up on the inside. We want to try to take these easy opportunities, because if the door is left open and there's a lot of space, then why not? But this SS section is a completely different story, because even though we can go quicker, it's not that wise to put the driver in a very uncomfortable position. So what I'm trying right now is to give the guys in front a little bit of breathing room. I'm still trying to stay close, but I don't want to make a mistake and force them into a mistake. So we have such a good run on the outside here, you see. Almost side by side in the next corner, but next corner is very dangerous, so I decide to let Sergio have it. I don't want to put pressure on him and make him do a mistake, not in the first lap at least. You see, some of the people are already doing a little bit of mistakes, which is wet racing. That's why I love wet racing so much. It's so exciting, and this race, man, I love this race. Unfortunately, it has a twist, but we'll get to that later. And now we're just trying to set up the exit of the next corner, because it's not a good plan to overtake in the next corner, but after the next corner, when we do and we have that big straight, basically we can put more pressure. See, staying very close to Sergio in front and trying to have a good exit in third gear. Around here, I found that for the first lap it's a lot better. I'm trying to take a little bit of slipstream, but we're so close that we just want to take the inside. And the next corner is not that easy. It's gonna depend. If it rains too much, you can easily spin the car right here and you have to do a lift. I was doing a lift here as well, because it's first lap. I don't really know what the grip levels will be, and we have a lot of cars in front. We're trying to set up our exit around here, and we see that some of the guys already go to the pits. So they must have had a little bit of contact, a little bit of, damage on the front wing. And it's easy to do it, because when it's raining, if you get a little bit of patch of water and the car slides in the wrong direction, you're done. Basically, it's very hard to correct it. Now I'm going to explain a little bit what I'm doing right here and how I'm setting up these corners, because I think I haven't raced in rain too much, but I think I have like a very good understanding, at least how to put it into words so that it would make sense to you. But for now, what we're trying to do is once again have a good exit. You see, taking this outside line, which is a lot grippier than the one in the center, and we're gaining a lot of time. Now the next corner, you can be quite aggressive here if you don't have someone in front, but I was leaving space because you never know when the driver in front will brake. At least it's the second lap. You have to notice a little bit some patterns, and we're trying to set up a good exit from here. See, we're taking a completely different line from the outside to the inside. And our plan will be more or less the same. We want to overtake on the big straight. It's the easiest spot to overtake. So we're trying right now to do the exact same thing we did in the previous lap, being quite aggressive on entry, pushing a bit the throttle to bring the car all the way to the curb, and now getting this exit. And the thing about driving in the wet and having a bit of draft, it is that sometimes it's difficult to make an overtake. And right now I'm very close, but because I don't want to put Alex in a weird spot right now and potentially cause an incident, I'm just staying a little bit behind, and I'm trying to set up this exit right here. See, he does a mistake, and I'm just looking here to push the throttle as quickly as I can, because now, even though he has the draft, I'm way closer to him than he is to John in front. So way closer, getting the slipstream, going on the right side, and this should be the move sealed into turn 1, because having the inside braking just a little bit later, we can take advantage of that speed difference. And now heads front. We want to make up for the places. We want to win the race if possible, because I believe pace is there. So there's no reason to try it. Also, in open setups and open series, you have more time. It's 30 minutes. So you see, once again, we gain a lot of lap time by just avoiding the racing line there. So as a quick tip, if one of the corners leads to a decent straight and the racing line generally will be more slippery, avoid the racing line altogether, even though you take the longer path, because you can pull the throttle a lot earlier. So that's mostly what I was doing in that end of the assist section, and was working out quite nicely. Also, a couple of small things. You have to brake soft in the rain. Braking soft, and you can see my brake bias is 52.5, so low brake bias value helps. Now there's a bit of action in front, so we're looking there, we're braking a bit earlier because we don't know what will happen with the spray and everything. Sometimes harder to see, but we have the good exit that we want. And now we're gonna try to put some pressure on John in front. He's having the draft, I'm having the draft as well. So this time I show up in his mirror and I just lift very, very early. Like, I didn't want to go side by side with him. I just wanted to put a bit of pressure. And that's it, because maybe he will do a mistake here. So let's see what he does. He's having a good corner, so the plan didn't work. And at this point I realized that John in front, he was quite slow in the first sector. But in the last part, on the big straight, he had a good exit in the previous lap. So I know that it's gonna be a little bit easier to overtake here. Even though it's riskier, it's a little bit easier because I would probably have a big speed difference. So at this point, I'm just entertaining the idea that I might overtake him here in sector 1 and trying to put a little bit of pressure on him. So you see, I'm staying very, very close, making him look in the mirror, once again taking the outside line. And we have such a big speed difference. We're taking the slipstream. We're going side by side. And we decided to do a big sandwiches break very, very late. He has to take avoiding action, but he takes avoiding action, but I don't think he had to because the space was there. But I agree this move was a bit riskier than the others. But I just noticed that in the previous lap he was braking earlier everywhere, so I figured that I can do it safely because I will brake later than him. I have the speed advantage, and that's why I decided to do it. Now, looking in front, these three guys in front are fighting, so we want to be in the mix. Setting up the exit once again, this was not ideal. We had to do a little bit of a correction there. And for those types of corners, the easiest way to think about them is just point the car in the right direction, let it glide a little bit, and then just go back on power. So once again, we're closing very, very quickly, showing on the inside, but going back on the racing line. We're trying to put pressure, making him do a mistake. Mistake happens. So right now we are in a great position. And that's why I showed up in his right mirrors. That's why I was staying on the inside, making him think that I will go for the move, so that, you know, it's easy to do a mistake when you see the car behind that. It's just moving in your mirror. You have to watch it. And yeah, right now it was quite clear that sector 1 was really strong, but it was a lot riskier. But because the tires were getting into a better operating window, I thought let's stay a little bit more close now. So I'm putting pressure here on Alessandro. Once again taking this line, which works really, really well. Staying close, but this time we're not gonna put this pressure on him to stay all the way on the inside. So we're making the life easier, or at least this is what I was trying to do. Because it's not that easy to overtake there on the inside. Really have to trust the brakes. So once again, you see, taking this wider line and preparing for the next corner. Now, I know that Alessandro will have the slipstream, so at this point I already imagine that nothing will happen until the last corner or the first corner of the next lap. So there's no point for me to trying something new here. I'm just trying to stay with the pack because, like I said, next corner impossible to overtake. He has the draft. Maybe he will do something and he will try to overtake Dylan in front. We'll see. But seems like he's staying behind. We're doing the same thing. We're so close. He did a big lift. We're trying to stake the outside to make him take the inside. And now they both have such a worse exit. And our position was perfect. Because right now, we can just draft them. And we have the speed advantage. So he chooses the inside. We have the driver on the outside. We're on the middle, so we're going 3 wide in the next turn. I was not going for a 3 wide, but I see in the mirror that the guy on the inside is just ceding the position, and it was easier for me to make the decision to just brake late. So if Alessandro would just stayed on the inside, I would just back off. I wouldn't force a 3 wide there because yeah, it's not the best idea. But even though the race so far has been amazing, unfortunately, it will take a different direction. And I want to show it to you because at least you can learn something out of it. So look what happened. I was just closing the gap to Bojan in front. And I was trying to, push more because clean air. I was trying to brake later everywhere to use more track. And this happened. You see? The race was completely over because of a meatball. And what really happened, besides braking a bit too hard, was this. Braking on the white line. Those white lines are super slippery in the wet. So if you brake on them, the car will just lose traction. I was trying to use all the track. And basically I chew a lot more than I could take. So that's the race, unfortunately. All the hard work can go in blink of an eye. So I hope you enjoyed this race. Let me know in the comments and looking forward to see you in the next one. Bye bye.